Hey, hi, how are you? My name's Filt, and welcome back to some Deadlock. Today, we're going to be talking about why you need to eat your greens. Not just in real life, but in Deadlock as well. Now, I haven't noticed this problem as much in the highest ranks of Deadlock, i.e. Phantom Ascendant Eternus, or the top 3 rankings here, although I'll sometimes see it in my Phantom games lately, so that's been interesting. But I'll see stuff in the Oracle games, Archon, Emissary, where people just aren't buying green items. And I'm not sure why. I don't know if they have a misconstrued conception of how to build in this game. I don't know if people don't realize how good green items are right now, or anything along those lines, but we're going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about why you should buy your greens, and why they're so good, and why, even though we're in a mostly Mouse 1 hero meta, mostly, green items are still very good and very worth buying. Hi everyone, just jumping in here before the rest of the video goes. So this is Future Felt from the editing process. I talk a lot about health investment and vitality and just raw based numbers in this video. Don't let that take away from the fact that a lot of green items have resistances on them that help you survive better. That's not something I'm focusing on a lot in this video because I feel like people do understand buy item with spirit resist to fight spirit characters. I think that concept has gotten around pretty well in the community, but I think a lot of people don't realize that when you don't need to buy specific resist items, the green items are still good, and that's a lot of the point of this video. Example, as you can see right in front of you, Dispel Magic actually has Spirit Resist on it as a stat, right? Something like Reactive Barrier has Spirit Resist on it as a stat, but that's not a focal point of this video, because I feel like people understand that part of the Vitality investment idea, but a lot of the rest of it is kind of slipping through their fingers. Now, I'm going to re-go over how investment works in this game, and if you want a more detailed in-depth video about how the 4.8k spike and stat investment works, I have an entire video on that on the channel, which will be linked down in the description if I remember to, and if not, you can go find it on the channel. But let's look at how Vitality investment has changed again. In the December update, we actually had the Vitality investment change from percentage of Vitality going up to just flat numbers, right? So when you would buy items, you would just get flat HP, and I believe you got like a flat 400 to 500 HP around that 4.8k spike. I don't remember the exact numbers, I apologize. But it was a pretty solid investment. And now that it is percentile again, I feel like people are not realizing that it's still just as good as it used to be. I think people are not realizing that in a very recent patch where we changed it back to the percentile ways here, we got flat number buffs. We got an extra flat amount of HP per level, and we got an extra percentage of HP per level as part of these changes back to percentage vitality investments, which makes vitality investment even stronger. Now, there aren't a lot of items that have straight health in them, so if you go to the shop and you search health, you'll not find a ton of items that just give you health, that are like good numbers of health. Like it's 30 on headshot booster, 210 on extra health, none on extra regen, 75 on rebuttal, 50 on mystic regen, 50 on rusted barrel. So a lot of these tier 1 items don't give anything above 100 health. And it takes until you start getting into the mid items to go, oh, some of these actually do give health. Like it's 300 on fortitude, it's 100 on fury trance, it's 125 on life strike. So you typically need to get to these T3 items to start getting sizable amounts of health. Like there's only 70 on spirit lifesteal and only 90 on bullet lifesteal, right? So you're not getting flat health numbers as much anymore. But because of how our base numbers have changed, vitality investment being a percentile means that those base numbers go further, meaning that buying an item like Counterspell, even though it gets 75 bonus health, it's on its own 3.2k, so it gives you that 17% mark, which overall, because you're going to have more base health at that point in the game, means you're just tankier. So, I'm on Mina at the moment for this example here. I have set their level up to where they would have around 16k souls, meaning that when I next buy an item that is worth around 3,200, it would be pretty similar to what I would be like in-game as far as overall stats-wise, a little bit higher, but you're not always perfect about when you buy stuff. So let's look at numbers right now on Mina, especially their health bar. Mina is notorious for having a very, very small health bar in the game. So at this point, with this much green, we only have the 1.6k investments. We're only getting 10% bonus vitality, and we are at 1489. Now, if I spent this money buying Dispel Magic, I go up to 1814. That is over 300 more health for Mina to make them more survivable, not even counting Dispel Magic being another survivability tool. Now, what if instead of buying Dispel Magic there, I was like, nah, I just want to be able to fight better, and I'll buy Superior Cooldown, and while Now I have more spirit power, getting up to the extra 48 as opposed to the 38. I'm still at 1489 health here. I have 300 less health. I don't have the defensive item in my kit. And when I go into a fight, I'm probably just going to get blown up, even though I can dash away more often, I can use Rake more often, I can cast Nox Nostra maybe a second time inside the same fight. But in order to do that, I need to be able to stay in the fight. And at this part of the game, you're not doing that. That's why builds are usually like this, where they have multiple green items in them. So let's look at a higher HP Mina. Let's assume that that we have gone to this part of the build because we hit 28k, but we're out of slots, but we still managed to get Counterspell Boundless Spirit and effectively follow the build all the way through, and we sold Healing Right to buy Counterspell in here, and this is where we're at. We'll have 2478 HP, right? Now let's imagine instead of selling Healing Right for Counterspell, we sold Healing Right to get Spirit Rend. We're at 2320 HP. That's like 150 less HP. You might be going, but Feld, Counterspell has bonus HP on it. Yes, that is one of the advantages of buying green items. They have that extra health sometimes. And Counterspell is also an item that you will be able to pop in order to get back some HP if people are spamming abilities at you, which if you're on Mina, you're going to be getting a lot of stuff thrown at you because everyone knows you're evasive and they want to lock you down early. It's also a reason why builds will go into Dispel Magic for Mina as well, because Dispel Magic will also give you a big heal when you pop it. And make it so that you live, and that extra 150 health you get from buying all these green items goes even further. Yes, your job as a character like Mina, a pokey, divey character who wants to clean up kills, is typically to shoot, fight, get a kill, and then get out. You won't be able to do that if you aren't alive. I know, it's a wild concept. I'm being very sarcastic here, I apologize. But if you can't get in and out of a fight without going down to like 100 HP, because you don't have enough green items to be survivable, you don't have that extra 10% HP from your vitality investment increase, and that extra 75 from the counterspell to make it so that you don't die as often, you're just going to have a really bad time trying to dive in and out of fights. That's why a lot of Mina builds look like this, to where they're actually pretty green at the moment. Everyone is so tanky right now because green items are quite good, and the percentile and vitality investment means that once you buy an item like Siphon Bullets on top of it, and let's even level up to make sure we're looking at things correctly. Yeah, around the 34k mark, we're now at 2710 HP, and as well as whatever health we'll steal off Siphon Bullets. But if we didn't buy Siphon Bullets, and we bought a different survivability item like Ether Shift, we're at 2642. That's like another 70 health that you're missing out on. And that's not even counting the fact that Siphon Bullets has bullet resist and just flat weapon damage on it as a thing, and hits us to that 48% vitality investment that we otherwise wouldn't be hitting, right? It's just a lot of return on investment to be able to buy green items right now. Let's look at another character right now. Let's look at a character like Venator. They're a character who is running lots of green items right now in order to hit max vitality investment, right? So that when you play them, you have 4,000 HP, and then you have items like Siphon Bullets stealing HP from people. You have items like Vamp Burst keeping you alive longer, and you have items like Colossus giving you tons of resistances. So that even though you buy Glass Cannon for a huge infusion of weapon damage, you're still incredibly tanky and hard to take out. And you know what works really well for being a frontline gun character right now? Being able to just never die. Another example of how characters can be built at the moment that show off that green is powerful. Let's look at 7. This 7 build has Greater Expansion, Spear Duration, Escalating Exposure, Boundless Spirit, Surge of Power, Toxic Bullets Intensifying Magazine, but then Leech, Unstoppable, Enduring Speed, and Healbane, hitting that 48% or, 16k vitality investment. And so we have 4286 max health, which is effectively more because Leech will be healing us, and Unstoppable means that we will be able to just not be stunned out of stuff so we can keep proccing Leech, making 7 a force to be reckoned with because you are a generally mid to frontline spirit gun hybrid character who will just not be dying. Are you picking up on a theme yet, dear viewer? I want to do a breakdown here of T4 vitality items, and I hope that by watching this you will realize that T4 vitality items are much better than you expect. Let's look through the ones that are all about not dying first, though. So Unstoppables, debuff resistant bonus health, Spellbreaker, spirit resist and debuff resist. This also has the ability to just become immune to being CC'd for the most part. This has it so that if you get hit by a big spirit damage burst, you take 65% less. This has a 50% chance to stop on hit effects and 35% chance, 30% chance, I can't read, 30% chance to deflect bullets. This gives people a 36% fire rate slow when they shoot you, as well as giving slow resist, move speed, melee resist, and health regen. Cheat Death just has bonus health and bullet resist, as well as making you just go immune to dying for 4.5 seconds. And Divine Barrier gives ability range and a barrier that cleanses basically everything, as well as giving a 3-meter move speed up. Most of those are what people think about when they think of T4 green items. They're the survivability options that make it so that you don't die in fights. And I talked about some of them when I was explaining examples of what people buy. But let's look at the other green items. Leech, lifesteal, bonus health, weapon damage, and spirit power. Inhibitor, 25% weapon damage and bonus health. Vamp Burst gives 34% fire rate and 75% ammo when it's activated, making it actually one of the strongest items in terms of fire rate that the game will offer you. It's up there with some of the other really powerful ones. Siphon Bullets just has 15% weapon damage, as well as stealing max percent HP, making those super tanky characters a lot less tanky, a lot faster. This is honestly an orange item in disguise as a green item. Phantom Strike gives 15% weapon damage and 8 spirit power, as well as that teleport to someone, disarm them, deal damage, and make them slow. Infuser, when you activate it, grants 30 spirit power, as well as its 80% spirit lifesteal, as well as giving spirit resist, spirit lifesteal, and bonus health on it. Witchmail actually has spirit power on it. I don't know if people don't realize this one, but the amount of people I see not buying Witchmail when the enemy team is like all spirit blows my mind. It has spirit power for free and 20% spirit resist, and it cools down your abilities really, really fast if you're getting hit by a ton of spirit damage. Diviner's Kevlar gives 35 spirit power for 23 seconds after you pop your ultimate. Yeah, 35 spirit power for 23 seconds is a pretty long buff. Colossus has 15% weapon damage on it, as well as the 300 bonus health, 15% base health, and the activated ability to become the tankiest tank to ever tank. Healing Tempo gives a 35% fire rate when you heal people. Make sure that you're actually only buying this if you heal people for real, like, say, Dynamo and McGinnis, and potentially Rem. Because if you're not actually giving out the healing to your teammates to make them also have the fire rate bonus, it's just not as good of an item. That's why it's down here at the end. But as I'm sure you've noticed, a lot of these green items have damage stats on them. In fact, they're actually outnumbering the ones that don't have damage stats on them by like a lot. You see, all of them have a little star, so this is all of the items that are T4 greens. A lot of these T4 greens are a lot better than people realize. There are even items that aren't in the T4 that actually give positive stats and are really good to buy early game. Spirit Lifesteal actually gives 6 spirit power on it. Healbane gives 7. Enchanter's Emblem will give you 15 if you're above 65% health. And Battle Vest can give you 15% weapon damage and 7% fire rate if you're above 65% health. Counterspell actually gives you 20 spirit power if you properly counter something. 14,400 souls is the amount of souls you need for a hybrid character going into 3 different stats to hit 4.8k in all 3 stats. Most of the roster at this point is hybrid scaling of some sort, or pretty close to hybrid scaling of some sort, so this is a very important number to know. If you are playing the game, and your build is getting to around 16k, to around 18k, to 20k, and you don't have a vitality investment yet, you might need to reevaluate either the builds you're using, the items you're going over other items, or just how you build in general, because you should really be trying to hit this as early as possible, and if not as early as possible, definitely before 20,000 souls. If you look through the build browser, and you find builds that are made by some of the top players, like for example, I know that Ido is a very good Mina player. Their builds will more often than not be hitting the 4.8k green spike exactly as they hit 14,400. And that is because it is just good for the character. Another example that I can give is Victor. This build is made by a generally top-level Victor. As far as I'm aware, they are an Eternus player who's usually in the higher-level Eternus lobbies. And if you buy their build in order, straight through it, you will get to 14,400, and you will have your green spike. This is why my builds that I've made are also pretty similar in that they try and do the same thing. This is my Bombadox build. If I follow it straight through, I'm at 15,200 because I bought one extra item in Headshot Booster, and that is it. And in 15,200, I have it. So I'm 800 above on this particular build. But once again, we're really close to that 14,400 mark. Let's look at my 7 build, my old one that really needs a bit of a rework. But would you look at that? 14,400. I got all my spikes. Now, this is obviously not the same for every single character. Not every single character likes all 3 stats. But if you are a character that is going for all 3 types of items, you should really go, all right, I'm at 14,400. Do I have my green spike yet? No, I should probably get that next. Pocket is a character that I like a lot, and my build is not perfect at getting the spike online on time, but I will also sometimes just do this as my starting build, and by 12k, I will have over my 4.8k green spike active. Or by 9600 if I feel like going Enchanter's Majestic Leap in a certain game, or Healbane Majestic Leap in a certain game. I will be at my green spike by 9600 souls, making me super tanky, super fast if I'm just going pure green-purple out the gate. Getting that spike of survivability means that you will just be dying less often. Dying less often is always good. This video is not to name and shame. This video is not to go, if you're not doing this, you're wrong, because every game is different, and sometimes speedrunning your character into Boundless Spirit at 5 minutes because you would ended up endlessly fighting between lanes, sometimes that's just the right play. Not usually. Usually you're better off just following your build, but sometimes it can be the right play. Not every game is the same. Not every character is the same. But my personal opinion, that 14,400, that 16k, that 20k mark, if you're getting to those points in a game and you don't have your green spike online, you should really think about going, okay, I really need to at least break 4.8k in terms of green items. That doesn't mean you need to do exactly that. That means you could do more than that. You could be going, okay, well, this is a game against Dalash. I should just go ahead and buy Counterspell, and that's great, and that's fine. But it is an important stat right now because of how good it is as a stat right now. Everyone's already generally tankier because of the vitality increase. Making yourself even tankier beyond that because you're investing in green is almost always a good thing. But that is it for this diatribe of a video. This is just something that I felt like might be helpful to some people to know that green items are not as bad as they think, and that green items are really good right now, and that buying your spikes is always useful. The number of people I see just kind of not doing it has led me to kind of go, maybe people just don't know, maybe they just need some more information. Hopefully I don't come off too much as a scolding teacher in this video, but if I do, oh well, eat your greens. Thanks for hanging out and watching. Y'all are all cool and I appreciate you. If you like, comment, subscribe, it supports the channel immensely, and I'd always appreciate that. But I just hope to catch you all in the next one.